Hello and welcome to your first video for Algebra 1. A few things that you want to remember. You want to take notes, try problems, and re-watch the video if you're confused about any of the things that we discuss. Today we're going to talk about variables, substitution, and the order of operations, and then we're going to do a few practice problems. So a variable is a letter, X, Y, M, N, A, B, any letter. It's a placeholder, so it's holding the place of something, and it represents something that we don't know yet. Usually it's whatever we're trying to figure out, whether it's X in an equation or H for hours worked, anything like that. So a variable is a letter, a placeholder, and represents some value that we don't know yet. So for example, if you get 2 points for each correct answer on a test, what would your score be in terms of correct answers? Well, it's going to be 2 points for each correct answer. So if you say C is the number of correct answers, then 2 times C is going to give you your score. So C is the variable, it's the unknown. You have to figure out how many correct answers there were. So now let's talk about substitution. Substitution is when we replace one expression with another expression that has the same value, so another equal expression. Well, what's an expression? These are all examples of expressions. 3 plus x, 2, 2x, or 3a over 4. It's a piece of information in math. It's not a whole equation, it's just one piece of information. So if I go back to that 2c, where c was the number of correct answers, and I tell you that c equals 7, well, now I have one expression here and one expression here, and I'm told that they are equal. So I can substitute 7 in for c. So what do I get? I get 2 times 7, which is 14. So substitution is replacing something with something that's equivalent. So substitution in sports, sometimes a player gets hurt and another player who plays in that same position has to come in and substitute for them. Let's talk about the order of operations. I'm sure by now you're all familiar with these 6 letters. Some of you may know them as PEMDAS. Some of you may know them as Please Excuse My Dear Aunt Sally, although if you don't have an Aunt Sally, it probably isn't that easy to remember. But what do they stand for? Do you remember? And for parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, subtraction. Well, what does that mean? Well, that is the order in which we're supposed to work through a math problem. So the first thing we're going to do are look at the parentheses. Parentheses can look like that, but they can also be brackets. And you always want to work from the inside out. What about exponents? Well, exponent is like x squared or 2 cubed. The exponent is that little number right there. So after we take care of parentheses, the next thing we want to look at is exponents. We have multiplication. So multiplication and division, they are kind of like a pair. They're best friends. They go together. And when we find that we're at the step where we can look for multiplication and division, we want to go from left to right, just like when you're reading a book or a magazine or the internet sometimes, but definitely a book. So multiplication and division, we're going to go left to right, and they go